Welcome to the Weiss Take Full Tilt Podcast. I am your host, CK013. You can find me on Twitter screaming at Dave Roberts at CK_013. I am joined once again by one of Weiss Take's finest DFS analysts, who I'm pretty sure is also pretty pissed at Dave Roberts, Mr. Johnny the Greek, better known across the Weiss Take Nation as Johnny the Freak. You can find him on Twitter at GDaddy80. Johnny, my man, I know we talked a little bit before the show, just a couple seconds. Some raw emotion, more anger, I think. I sense that from both of us. I think we're very, very angry. But I'm going to let you speak about it a little bit yourself, man. How you doing?
I'm good, yeah. So I was getting ready to do the show, and I noticed there was a long gap, and I don't see any points coming from Maeda. And I look, and he's not in the game anymore. And this is always the crap I'm worried about with the Dodgers pitchers, with Dave Roberts. Got to be the worst coach. Got his skill set from Don Mattingly, who used to be the worst coach in baseball, but he's not anymore because he's not playing. He's not a coach anymore. But yeah, terrible. Absolutely ridiculous. We only get 2 innings out of this guy. Chalk pitcher. Now we got Snell pitching great in the cash games, and it might cost me my cash games tonight, which will really piss me off. And I was looking really good in the tournament. I know you were as well. And I had like 150 on the board with a bunch of players still to play, and no pitchers pitched yet on DraftKings. And I was going to crush the tournament, and I had Maeda going to pitch and Snell, both those 2 guys. And I was like, man, I got this locked in tonight, and freaking Maeda with his 1.35 points on DraftKings isn't going to get it done tonight. So, yeah, you fucking suck.
Yeah, man. What kills me is I'm watching the game, and he comes to the mound. Maeda was pissed the first time. Maeda said, leave me alone. Let me do my thing. He strikes out Arrieta, and he brings his punk ass out to the mound again. And you can see Maeda telling him, what are you doing? He says, stay back, go away. You see Maeda telling him, I'm fine, go away. And he comes out there anyway just because he has to be involved in some way. He has to just troll everybody. Dave Roberts, I hope you get kicked in the balls, man. I hope somebody just rolls up on you and just I'm not going to say anything too crazy, but I hope somebody comes up on you and just kicks you square in the nuts. I would feel a lot better about this particular night. And I hope you guys missed the playoffs by 1 game. Somebody said that to me on Twitter, and I couldn't agree more. Hope you missed the playoffs by 1 game, and this game comes back to haunt you. I really do. Listen, I'm not going to blame you for the Rich Hill thing.
No, and I will tell you this, brother, though. If I ever run into him, I will be that guy that kicks him with the ball. So.
Freak mode. He's out of too. Better watch out, Roberts. I get kicked in your nuts, man.
Yeah, a little midget. Little midget. Got you.
That's good. That made me laugh. Made me feel a little bit better. But yeah, I'm tilted, bro. I was in 3rd place in a $75. I was climbing. I'm like, oh man, I might win another 1st place finish. And then sure enough, Dave Roberts just does what Dave Roberts does. He's just a disease to DFS, man. He really is. He just needs to go. He's just terrible. I'm not mad at him for the Rich Hill thing. Rich Hill is just he's got his own thing with the blisters. But when I'm watching the pitcher, telling him, go back, I'm fine, leave me alone. I'm watching Maeda tell him, go away. And this dude still comes out there. I mean, it's unbelievable, man. Unbelievable. Just completely ruined a lot of people's nights. To get so much right, and then to come down to the one thing that you're like, okay, well, Maeda's floor. I didn't need like a massive game from Maeda. I just needed a floor game. Just needed like 15, 16, a floor game. That's all we needed, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I wasn't like looking for anything crazy with the pitchers today. Like, I wasn't looking at 25. I was like, hey, 18 to 20 day with Maeda with my hitters that I got, with Snell and this lineup, and then with as we talked earlier in cash games, as long as I didn't get get punched in the face multiple times. The $4,000 pitcher was Danny Duffy. As long as he didn't get punched in the face too many times. Yeah, he got 14. I said I'm looking for 10 to 12 out of him today with all his goodness in Coors Field and everything else going on. And Matt Carpenter even came in and he gave me 20 today. I was like, man, Machado, I got those guys in here. Great lineup, and this guy could crush dreams tonight. This mother.
No, he's the worst.
I'm gonna leave him alone.
He's the worst.
I'm not the guy on DFS that likes to like complain and bitch and stuff like that. But like, I know I'm the guy that I don't like to pitch Dodger pitchers because of this. And I always preach in my articles, and I always tell people just be careful, because one concern we always have is this, and it happens again. And I keep playing the freaking pitchers. So
And like
I think I'm going to go on a no more Dodger pitcher rant.
And that's the thing. Like it's not even like he threw 80 pitches and Roberts was like, okay, I'm going to pull you. The dude went 2 innings. Really? You're going to pull him after 2 innings? The guy tells you I'm fine. He strikes out a pitcher. He strikes somebody out, and then you're going to pull him? It's a moron, man. Complete moron. Can't stand him. Anyway, now that we got that out of our system, it's time to move on because we do have another slate to break down. More money to be made. Moving on from his punk ass. Unfortunately, we have to deal with him again, and we're going to have to keep dealing with him as long as the Phillies are playing the Dodgers. But we'll get to that in a second. Feel free to slide in any of the Dave Roberts comments as the show goes on. But in the meantime, we'll get started with this one. We got ourselves a 10-game main slate. Not going to cover the early slate, not enough games. We will be providing content for the early slate tomorrow, though, Johnny and myself. So we will have some articles out for the early slate. All of our other content, the Weiss stream, everything else, will be for the main slate. The strategy session will return on Thursday, because I believe there is not any early games on Thursday. First game we got here, Kyle Hendricks of the Chicago Cubs visiting Joe Musgrove of the Pittsburgh Pirates. Total here is 8. Pittsburgh plus 110, home underdogs. 75 degrees, 70% humidity, another decent day for hitting, except it looks like there's 12-mile-per-hour winds blowing in from center field. So a little curveball there out in big-ass PNC Park. What do you got, Johnny? First look.
Yeah, so our friends at DraftKings finally decided to give Joe Musgrove a raise here and raise him $2,900 from his last start here when he was minimum at $4,000, which I think is about the right price for him. Pretty close. I don't think there's a lot of room there in this matchup against the Cubs. So for me, it's going to be a fade. Kyle Hendricks, just not enough strikeouts. Just not really, into that. But yeah, like a lot of these Cubs bats are coming alive. Anthony Rizzo started the season really slow, but he's really been heating up. So I really like him today. I like Kyle Schwarber. I mean, Ben Zobrist. Even I can go to Chris Bryant. I mean, he's not been super hot, and he's a little bit expensive, but I think I could still throw him in there. But I think the stack is viable. I think this total's a little low. I get it that it's a little bit of a big ballpark here in Pittsburgh, but I think that definitely these Cubs can erupt tomorrow against Musgrove. Musgrove has some control problems and does give up a lot of home runs, so I like that. And on the Pirates side, I don't have a ton of interest. Kyle Hendricks typically keeps the scoring so minimal. He doesn't really get beat up a lot, so. Not really interested in him, though, on this slate, but I like the Cubs.
Yeah, Anthony Rizzo doing what he does in PNC, 2 straight days with a home run in that park. I think he can go for 3 here against Musgrove. Musgrove has looked really good so far in the limited sample we've seen going back to the minor league appearances. His interior numbers looked okay, but the price increase is enough to get me off. The Cubs really seem like they're starting to heat up a little bit here. Don't know if I want to pick on them. I know it's a big park, but there is a decent hitting environment. Something I'm going to have to dig into tomorrow. But my first instinct is I don't typically like when guys get raised in price that much, and I know why they did it, and they should have done it. But now that it's done, it kind of not too interested in Musgrove, and I don't really pitch Kyle Hendricks ever. I don't understand why he's always priced that high. I mean, the dude just doesn't have a ton of upside. It's so rare that he has like a monster upside game, and I don't really understand that. So I think the Pirates are okay. Low total in general, I agree, Johnny. I do think the Cubs can put up some runs here, but I think the Pirates can put up some against Hendricks too, so I think it's all around low. But anyway, moving on, we've got Max Scherzer. He's $100 cheaper, Johnny. He was $14K, now he's $13.9 after that horrible performance against the Marlins. He is $13.9 here against David Hess of the Baltimore Orioles. The total in this game currently is 8.5, and Baltimore plus 190. Home underdog, 70 degrees, 92% humidity, decent day for hitting. What are you doing with Mad Max?
Sorry, I was telling my girlfriend something real quick. So yeah, so for me with the Nationals here with Matt Scherzer, I agree with you, man. Like only $1,000 discount after he got the crap beat out of him against Miami. Now he's going to a terrible ballpark here in Baltimore. I like the matchup for him, though, but I don't like this ballpark. That's the thing that scares me here a little bit. But he's the best arm on this slate by far. So I like him in cash games tomorrow. David Hess, I don't like him in this ballpark. I mean, I know it's his home ballpark, but this is a guy that's going to give us some home runs. So yeah, I like Bryce Harper tomorrow. I like Soto. I like Matt Adams. I like Trey Turner. I think these guys are all in play tomorrow. This stack's probably going to be pretty high owned, but for good reason. David Hess gives up the long ball, and this is a home run park. And on the other side, like I guess you could look at the lefty power, like Pedro Alvarez and Chris Davis, and those are probably the preferred plays there against Scherzer. But I'm not gonna play anybody against Scherzer.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, it's a big slate. I'm sure we can find bats that we're going to like more elsewhere. Obviously, Max Scherzer is prone to home runs. We know that about him. Big-time fly ball guy. Him, Verlander, all these other dominant strikeout pitchers seem to be similar in that. But I'm with you. I'm not trying to play that game. I do have a lot of interest in Max Scherzer. I know he's expensive. I'm going to have to find a cheap guy to pair him with. If I can't, it's going to be tough for me to go to Scherzer. This is another core slate. We do have some other bats that we're going to have to consider. So not exactly sure how much I'm going to be able to play him in tournaments. I definitely think in cash games, you're probably going to want to stop here and just go ahead and go with Scherzer. There's nothing worse in cash than you not having Max Scherzer and him having one of those dominant nights. It's like the worst experience in the world. So definitely a good situation with Scherzer to play cash and maybe get a little underweight on him on tournaments. But this matchup is very good. This is a better matchup, in my opinion, than Miami. I think Baltimore strikes out way more. Obviously, you got Manny Machado, who you're going to have to navigate around. That dude is very good. But the rest of this team is just terrible. And they look like they've already given up. Like, honestly, they look like they've basically already given up. It's wild. And for David Hess, I think that he's gotten away. I don't know off the top of my head, but I just want to check one thing, who his opponents were. Because I think he's kind of gotten away here with some weaker. Like, yeah, okay, Tampa Bay. Looks like against Boston, he didn't do very well. Gave up 3 home runs to Boston. And so against Tampa Bay, he had two decent games this season. The one good offense he faced was Boston. They tattooed him. He's going to face another pretty good offense here in the Nationals in this small park. I do think the Nationals get to him. And I think the Nationals are a very interesting stack here against David Hess, who I don't believe is very good at all. Next up, we got Shohei Ohtani of the Los Angeles Angels visiting Mike Fiers of the Detroit Tigers. Looks like the Angels are minus 205 at home. Not quite sure of a total. I think the Angels were a little late in announcing Ohtani's start. Could have some rain in the forecast. I'm seeing 32% chance of precipitation, 72 degrees, 88% humidity, and 15 mile per hour winds as of right now, projecting to blow in from center field. Ohtani, I got to say before I hand it over to you, very disappointed they didn't let Ohtani pitch against the Yankees on that last start on Sunday. It's a little sketchy. They didn't say he was hurt or anything like that. They just decided not to pitch him. So don't baby the dude, man. Don't baby the guy. Like, let's see what he's got. You know, not pitch up against the Yankees. That's a bitch move. What you got, Johnny? What do you think of this game? Oh, I think you're on mute over here.
That's what I get tired with all the sports, like with basketball and baseball. Everybody babying everybody. These guys are multi-million-dollar players. Just suck it up and do it. Like these guys that used to like sacrifice everything in basketball and baseball got paid no money. And, Iron Man, like Cal Ripken Jr., never missed a game, had this great game streak. Like, you don't see that anymore. There's a bunch of what, and I'm tired of it. Like, I'm tired of treating these guys like babies and let them act like prima donnas. Like, grow up. You guys are grown men. Let them play. It's really frustrating, as a sportsman and a DFS player to, have this stuff happen. Again, we pay a lot of money for these tickets and to watch the sport. And they just need to suck it up and play and let these guys play. Let your dudes play. That's it. That's all I got to say. Anyways, so, we're going to search for value tomorrow. That's going to be the hardest thing we're going to have to find. It's going to be really difficult tomorrow, when you were asking about the pitchers, in general. I don't like Fiers tomorrow. He's not an option for me as a cheap pitcher. I can't go there. He's got to reverse splits. So a lot of these Angels are in play tomorrow. I think these Angels are going to be a low in stack with Coors on the field, with Coors Field here, and we also got the Nats here have a big total. So I think Angels are definitely a good spot tomorrow to attack with some cheap prices. Everybody but Mike Trout at $6,000. It's a lot, but you can go there. Ohtani, I think he's in a fine spot here against the Tigers, and I think if I can't get to Scherzer, he's probably the next best option tomorrow going. So I definitely think he's viable in both GPPs and cash. And he might end up becoming the chalk cash game pitcher if we can't find a good value guy.
Yeah, I don't think too many people are going to go to Ohtani. Number one, we have some weather concerns. Number two, James Paxton is playing the Rangers on this slate, so I think if anything, he might be the default number two guy if guys can't find a guy with Scherzer. So I'm not really worried about Ohtani's ownership. I'm more worried about his upside. He's been pretty good. Don't get me wrong. He throws real hard, all that great stuff. But the Tigers, and Johnny, I think you know better than everybody because you've called the Tigers on a couple good hot streaks here. The Tigers are just a pesky team, man. They're kind of like Miami, just a team you don't really want to pick on all that much. So Ohtani's good. He's on extra rest. I'm fine with it. I think he's going to be lower owned in comparison to Scherzer and to Paxton. But not really into it. I just don't like picking on the Tigers. And for $500 more, I can get James Paxton. I think that's the route I prefer to go. The path of least resistance, so to speak. And I think you're right about the Angels. I think they were red hot today. After burning you and I the night before, of course, they decided to go off. It's okay. We had other stacks that were right, but they decided to go off today. Ian Kinsler hit a dong, and the Angels just went nuts. Valbuena hit two of them. And, I do think that they could be an interesting stack if this weather holds up. For sure. Just the biggest troll ever, right? We were on them heavy the day before. They do nothing. They come in here against Fulmer, who in my opinion is a better pitcher. And they bomb them. It's just unbelievable. Anyway, Jason Vargas, the lefty from my New York Mets, visiting Julio Teheran of the Atlanta Braves. Shout out to Johnny on the Weiss stream. You told everybody to play the Mets and Braves and GPP. The Mets mainly. The Braves did fine too, but the Mets were your main stack here on the sneaks and GPPs, and they really came through, man. Had a monster game as Asdrubal Cabrera hit two dongs. So shout out to you. Total here is 8. Atlanta plus 116, but I think that line was for Syndergaard, who is now on the DL, so he won't be pitching. And so I expect the Braves to be a pretty big favorite here against Vargas. What do you got?
Yeah, I was on the Mets today. I like them based on the matchup. And everybody got there, and this pitch is going to kill me today. But, it is what it is. Jason Vargas, $4,300. Does that interest you at all there, CK?
No, I can't do it. I can't do it.
Yeah, I streamed him I streamed him in that one really good outing he had.
You caught him in a great game. You did. You caught him in a great spot against Miami at home. That was sharp. I just don't know if I could do it against the Braves. I mean, he looked horrible against the Brewers again.
Yeah, no, he did. He did. I totally faded him there. I can't go here today. I mean, there's too many bats here. I really would. I wish I could because it'd be a really easy answer. $4,300 is go here, but maybe in GPPs I might take a shot on it, but because there's no Acuna in this lineup, and Acuna's a guy that I would really be afraid of here. But you got Albies here, batting second or first. He's always at the top of the lineup. Really, really, really good hitter. That's probably the biggest fear I have in here. Maybe a little bit of Freddie Freeman, but yeah, don't want to go here. Teheran, he's okay. But again, the Mets are coming in. Heated up a little bit today. A bunch of lefties coming to Atlanta. I don't want to go there. I think that you can definitely stack the Mets here. I like the Mets here again. I'm not interested in stacking the Braves tomorrow against Vargas, to be honest with you. I'm just worried about a couple bats here. If Albies could have a magical illness tonight and not play tomorrow, I might actually throw Vargas out there. But if not, it's just Mets for me. I like them today against Teheran in this small ballpark. All the lefties.
Man, the last time I touted the Mets against Teheran, it was just a horrible experience. Everybody on Twitter, nobody said a word to me beforehand. Afterwards, I got a barrage of tweets. Oh, but Teheran owns the Mets. How could you play the Mets? You're a homer. Teheran owns the Mets. It's true. Teheran does kind of own the Mets. I just don't believe, I'm not a history kind of guy in baseball. I like to look at the matchups also. And when you look at the matchup on paper, Teheran should not be dominating the Mets. He should not be. Teheran is not very good. I just don't. If you look at his exterior numbers, his xFIP, everything, he doesn't look that good. He's not very good against lefties. This is a park that's favorable to left-handed hitting. The Mets seem to be kind of warming up. They can't buy a win, but they certainly seem to compete lately and put up a lot of runs. Put up a lot of runs against the Brewers. Put up a lot of runs against these Braves tonight. But I don't know, man. They've disappointed me against Teheran so many times. They've been so bad. But obviously, this ballpark is much more favorable to the matchup for the Mets than this same matchup was in Citi Field. The weather is going to be nicer than it was in Citi Field. So I totally get the merit. Jason Vargas on the hill. I want to play some of these Braves. I don't think they'll be as popular as they should be. People really don't like to go lefty-lefty. So I think Ender Inciarte, Freddie Freeman, and Markakis could be fairly low owned just because, I mean, it's a great matchup, but people hate playing lefty-lefty matchups. Yeah, I think I lean towards the Braves. The Mets, I'm going to have to dig in, man. I know I'm going to see. I'm going to dig in. It's going to show me that the Mets are in a great spot. But then if I say anything, if I decide to play them, Julio Teheran's going to shut them down. That's just what happens. That's just what happens. It doesn't make any sense. But I agree with you, though, man. The Mets are in a great spot. They should be able to crush Teheran. They profile well. Everything. Yeah. Teheran, it just...
They do. I agree. And like the one thing I have to say with this is that, you know, I like it when people don't play a stack that everything lines up for because it's just a low ownership stack. Like today, same thing. Nobody played them. They were in a great spot. I think they're in a great spot tomorrow. It's more, not Teheran. Like, I don't think Teheran's a terrible pitcher, but this ballpark really, really is left-handed friendly. It's built for left-handed power. Nemo has been on fire lately. Asdrubal Cabrera is on fire. Like, these guys are hitting really well. If they can get Jay Bruce and Conforto to have an okay game tomorrow, you know, we can see some serious runs here on a mini stack here, or at least a 4-man stack. So I think it's fine. Like I mean, it's not an all in play or anything like that. Don't get me wrong, but
yeah, tournament.
If this tournament goes off, like no one's gonna own it. Like it's a low ownership play. I like it.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say this: Teheran has a 4.9 xFIP, not very good. He's got a 37.8% ground ball rate in this ballpark, going up against a bunch of lefties, in which he struggles mightily against lefties. He's got a batting average balls in play of 231. So I'll leave it at his walk per 9 is 4 right now. I'll leave it at that. Teheran is not pitching very well. The results might say one thing, like what he's doing in these games, but if you look at the numbers, if we can dig in and find some more bad numbers, but he's not pitching very well. But I'll leave it at that. He does do well against the Mets. Moving on, we've got Fernando Romero of the Minnesota Twins visiting Brad Keller of the Kansas City Royals. Never heard of that dude. I'll have to look him up in just a second. In the meantime, I will say 9 is the total. Kansas City is plus 120 at home. 90 degrees, 44% humidity, 9-mile-per-hour winds blowing out to right. It's a huge ballpark, Johnny, but we got great hitting weather. What do you got?
Yeah, so Brad Keller's a bullpen guy. He's a relief pitcher for KC. So this is his first start. KC. He's super cheap, but I really don't think I can go here. Righty against a heavy power lefty team here with Minnesota. The ballpark's nice, but I really can't go here. We have to see who's going to be the second arm out here. Maybe we can do some kind of a little bit of a DFS trickery and get that the long arm, the long reliever or something like that in as a DFS play tomorrow, like we've been doing with the Tampa Bay Rays when they've been throwing out Sergio Romo. So that might be in play tomorrow. Let's just look at who their long arm is tomorrow. I have to do a little bit more digging here, but Fernando Romero's okay tomorrow in this spot. I don't think I'm going to go here in cash. Maybe a little bit of GPP. There's a little bit of upside here, of course, with Kansas City is not the greatest offense. So I definitely side with the Twins here in this situation. I like their bats here. Definitely like that Sano's back. Don't have a ton of interest in Kansas City. It would mostly just be the bats from the Twins and a little bit of GPP exposure to Romero against the Royals.
Yeah, I think Romero's in play. I don't love picking on the Royals because they don't strike out a ton, but this kid is fairly priced at 7-8. We are kind of hurting for those SP2 kind of pitchers. We already know there's a couple of lead arms up top, so I think he's okay. Don't love the weather, don't love the atmosphere. But one thing about the Royals, while they don't strike out a ton, they do struggle for power, so that is something that's always attractive. I think if we take Fernando, we're not necessarily looking for 10 strikeouts. I think we're just looking for him to go a little deeper in the game and not get beat up. But the Twins' bats is definitely the preferred play here against this Brad Keller dude and the Royals bullpen. We have a great hitting environment. The Twins, as bad as they are against lefties, they are actually really good against righties. I think that Dozier, Sano, all the lefties, they got Eddie Rosario, Lomo should be back in the lineup, Eduardo Escobar, Kepler. These are all guys that do really well against right-handed pitching. Most of their switch hitters are better against righties as well. So I like the Twins a lot. They have a high run total, almost 5. Like we said, it's a great hitting environment. I know it's a big park, but the weather, it looks like it's going to be great for hitting. So I'm all Twins as well in this game. Moving on to cores, we've got Derek Holland, the lefty from the San Francisco Giants, visiting John Gray of those Colorado Rockies. Total here is 11.5. Colorado minus 170 at home, going to be about 73 degrees. The humidity continues to rise. Going to be almost 40% humidity. So we had like no humidity in the first game, went up to like 30 in the second. Now it's coming up to about 40 in this one, supposedly. Johnny, what do you think, man?
Yeah, I think the Rockies, they're going to absolutely destroy Derek Holland tomorrow. I think that this is going to be just a great matchup for them. Holland is not a good pitcher. Now we're getting him in Colorado. You're going to see a ton of guys here. I think everybody's in play on the Rockies, left or right-handed, doesn't really matter. Holland gives it up to everybody. You always prefer the righties here, but Charlie Blackmon's firmly in play tomorrow as well. I like him. I think you got to go here. This has got to be where you start in cash games. I think the bats tomorrow so far with this matchup tomorrow is telling me that bats are probably a little bit more important, the Coors Field situation, than some of these pitchers. So you probably want to start here and then kind of fill in. I have no interest in the Giants. Derek Holland, I have no interest in him. Not a lot of interest in the Giants with a low run total. This is telling me that John Gray might be a little popular tomorrow. I think some guys might go to John Gray if they're looking for like a lower-owned pitcher, or I should say a cheaper pitcher. Maybe they want to go two mids here and pitch John Gray and somebody else and load up with the bats. I can see that happening tomorrow. I don't know if that's where I want to go, but typically when you see run totals like this and you get matchups like the Giants with their ace on the mound, people like to pitch John Gray sometimes. So I can see that happening tomorrow. But for me, it's going to be just the Rockies bats. As many as I can get in my lineups, that's where I'm going tomorrow.
Yeah, Derek Holland, I don't believe is a very good pitcher. I have to look him up tomorrow, but I want to say he's another one of those sinker baller guys. And same thing with Samardzija. We know the sinker does not work well in Coors. So my initial reaction is to like these Rocky bats. And while the first thing we think is, they're going to be the chalk, it was interesting. Today, everybody talked about how they were going to be the chalk. Well, in the tournaments that I played, don't get me wrong, some other players were popular, but the full stack wasn't very popular. Like Blackmon was like 40%. And then there was a huge drop-off, exactly. The problem is people just couldn't fit them. So I think
they were hugely chalky, but
right.
Tournaments you could fit them off.
Right, in tournaments. Yeah, in tournaments they weren't as popular as I thought they were going to be together. Again, Blackmon had massive ownership, Arenado, but then like Desmond, Parra's ownership in a 3-entry max with only 100-something people in it. That's normally like a cash game type of tournament. And Parra was only batting second, as cheap as he was only like 15%. I think that was just crazy. So I do think that the Rocky stack, full stack, could be in play again. I think that the Giants are okay. I don't think they'll be as popular against John Gray. I do think that some people may try to pitch John Gray, and I think he's pitchable. The Giants have been really bad to righties, 5th in the league in strikeouts, 25%. So depending on the lineup we see, John Gray hasn't looked all that great at times, but he does have a lot of strikeout upside. These Giants can strike out. But the way they're swinging the bats right now, it does seem kind of scary. So I wouldn't be upset if anybody decided they wanted to play some Giants because it is Coors, better hitting environment, and Gray hasn't looked all that great out in Coors. He's looked good outside of Coors, hasn't looked so great in Coors. So the Rockies for sure, the Giants a maybe. Next up, we haven't seen this guy in a long time. Nathan Eovaldi of the Tampa Bay Rays visiting Sean Manaea of the Oakland Athletics. Total here is 8. Oakland minus 175 at home. Going to be about 54 degrees, 77% humidity, but we do have 15 mile per hour winds projected to be blowing out to right field. What do you got, Johnny?
Yeah, until I saw that wind, I was like, yeah, we can get some Nathan Eovaldi, in a big park here. Yeah, no. He throws a straight fastball. Like, it has no movement. And that wind blowing out is just going to make a blowout harder, faster. So unless we get some news on the weather here, I can't go there. There's a lot of power bats here that can hit fastballs, and that's his best pitch, and it's just a straight fastball. So for me, right now, I'm going to say no. But if the weather changes, maybe it's a yes tomorrow because we could strike a lot of guys out here with these A's. Sean Manaea, he's an okay pitcher. He's had some of his ups and downs this year. For me, I don't think I can go tomorrow. With some of the other arms here, but it's a decent matchup for him. With these Rays not being the greatest offense of they're not world beaters or anything like that. So For me, I think in general, unless something opens up with the weather here, it's going to be a stay away for me. I don't think I'm going to go play at either side.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like, Manaea's okay. I don't really like picking on the Rays with lefties all that much. Even Chris Sale, I get skeptical on just because they have so many righties in their lineup. And also, like you said, we do have a hitting atmosphere a little bit with that wind blowing out there. The temperatures are okay, but if that wind holds up, it's going to be tough for me to roster a pitcher. I think Manaea is interesting if you're trying to go the double mid-tier route that we were talking about before. If you wanted to go with, I forgot one of the guys we talked about, but like a John Gray or a Fernando Romero, and you wanted to try to get two mid-tier pitchers so that you can go ahead and load up on those bats. I think Manaea's okay. He's in the conversation. But I haven't liked what I've seen from him so far. His strikeout rates are down. I know he's had some tough competition, but his strikeout rates are down. Like, everything just looks a little off for Manaea. He is home in this big ballpark, so I do think he can go the distance if he's on. But I have to dig in on Manaea a little bit. I do think I want to take some of these athletics against Eovaldi. You mentioned he's a fastball thrower. In the minor leagues, he did play in the minors. His last minor league game was on May 23rd. He went 4 innings. He did get 6 strikeouts, but he gave up 10 hits and 8 earned runs. Only 1 home run. 8 earned runs, 10 hits. So again, he had 6 strikeouts. Okay, this was in AAA, but the rest of those numbers are awful. I do think you mentioned he throws a fastball that's pretty flat. That's like the one pitch the A's can hit is the sinker and the fastball. They are a good fastball hitting team. So I do think the A's could be kind of sneaky here. But we'll have to dig it in tomorrow. If the wind wasn't blowing out, I would take a second look at Eovaldi because he does have some strikeout upside. He can strike guys out. And these A's do strike out. But if that wind's going to sustain itself at around 15, I don't know if I could pull the trigger. So another situation where I want to kind of dig in. We are looking for that value SP2 pitcher, and so far we're not seeing it. So we may have to take a second look at Eovaldi. But my first reaction here is to look at some of these lefties on the Athletics and think that they're in play. Matt Moore, the lefty from the Texas Rangers, visiting James Paxton, the lefty from the Seattle Mariners. The total here is 8. Seattle minus 255 at home, 65 degrees, 42% humidity out in Seattle. What do you got, Johnny?
Yeah, so definitely this lines up well for Paxton tomorrow. He's a huge favorite. I didn't look further down than the other pitchers we were looking at in the beginning, but yeah, Paxton definitely against the Texas Rangers tomorrow. Not a really great bunch of right-handed hitters. Paxton's could definitely dominate in this game, and he should, especially he's going to be at home in Seattle. I like it. Much better hitting environment, much better pitching environment than Texas right now. So I think we can go there. And I think we can attack Matt Moore with some of these guys here. Mitch Haniger, Nelson Cruz, Ryan Healy, Mike Zunino, Gene Segura. These guys are all in play tomorrow. High total here, 492, and it's a late game. So whenever we get a late game, we have the East Coast West Coast bias. So I think the stack's going to go low owned. Nobody ever plays the Mariners, especially on a late night game. So if you want to look at a bunch of zeros in your lineups until the end of the slate, you might end up winning the slate with these Mariners here against these Rangers.
Yeah, I will say, Johnny, shout out to you, man. I know even today you'd mentioned they thought the Mariners were a sneaky stack, man, and they did put up some runs. Nelson Cruz hit a home run. I think this spot is, like you said, even better for him against Matt Moore, a lefty. We have a lot of right-handed power on this team. I think Matt Moore has got extreme fly ball rates. Definitely another scenario where I wouldn't be surprised to see the Mariners do well here. I think they could be another sneakier stack for tomorrow. Mitch Haniger, Mike Zunino, Ryan Healy, these are all guys that hit lefties way better than they hit righties. So I do think that we can take a look there for sure. And Paxton, man, as of right now, he seems to be my clear-cut favorite SP1 on the board. Again, I think I would still try to go Scherzer and Cash if I could, but if I couldn't make it happen, I'd be fine going with Paxton. And in tournaments, I think I'm starting with Paxton. You're getting a big discount here. He's got tremendous strikeout upside himself. He's at home in a great pitcher's park. And of course, most important detail is the Rangers are 3rd in the league in strikeouts to lefties right now with a 25.9% K rate. So loving me some James Paxton. Definitely and of course I'm digging some Seattle bats as well. Next up, we got Zach Eflin of the Philadelphia Phillies visiting Ross Stripling, another Dodger pitcher. Ross is a young kid, and he pitched well in his last game. Of course, his coach is Dave Roberts, so you never know what the hell is going to happen. I really hope you run into him so you can kick him in the balls for me. That would be glorious. Total here is 7.5. The Dodgers are minus 175. Home favorite. It's going to be about 62 degrees, 77% humidity. Another beautiful day in LA, right, Johnny?
It is, man. It's heating up too. So, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna look into this a little bit more, but I'm kind of PO'd right now, so I'm not even gonna consider Ross Stripling right now tomorrow. But it's a little expensive too at 7,300. I think there's some better buys than him in this matchup. So I think I'm just not gonna go there. But same thing with Eflin. I don't want to go here tomorrow. There's a bunch of lefties here in the Dodgers that can get to him tomorrow, so I don't want to go there. These guys hit fastballs well. Eflin's a pretty hard thrower here, so Yasmani Grandal, he's the harder you throw the ball, the harder he hits it out of here. He's one of the best hard fastball hitters in baseball. So Grandal's a good play tomorrow. I like these lefties tomorrow on the Dodgers. I think that they can be a late sneaky stack as well. Not a lot of interest in Philly though. Just going to be the Dodgers or nothing.
Yeah, don't really want to pick on Stripling. As of right now, I'm trying to be a man about it, suck it up, and acknowledge the fact that Stripling is in a phenomenal spot at a phenomenal price. I, too, am a little bitter, so part of me wants to not say it, put my foot in my mouth, and just move on to the next game. But obviously, we have to acknowledge the Phillies are a super high strikeout team against righties. That's the whole reason we liked Maeda today, which, of course, was our demise. But the Phillies are second in the league right now. Strikeouts to righties, 26.4%. We know Stripling has good stuff. He is coming off a fantastic game, even as chalk last time. We'll see what happens. Maybe he breaks a fingernail. Maybe he stubs his toe. It does whatever else the Dodger pitchers do. Maybe somebody coughs on him and he's worried that he has some kind of disease. Who knows what goes on with the Dodgers fuckery over there. But obviously at 7-3, he does seem like the most attractive SP2 we've seen so far going up against the Phillies. But of course, as always, Dave Roberts is the coach. So until he gets kicked in the balls, I'm not going to feel justified in playing any of the Dodgers pitchers. But
hey, CK, just to make you feel a little better, okay? So in the late night stack, I told you I love those Mariners today, so I stacked them up. And if I would have made just a pivot and not have played Maeda and put Snell in there, I'd be cleaning that board up. Every single tournament on the board in DK, I would be winning right now by a lot because I got all the homers already right.
How is that going to make me feel better, Johnny? I want my guys to win, man.
I'm making you feel better because I'm right here with you, brother.
That makes me feel worse. I want my team to win. I want my squad to be the best.
I'm just trying to tell you, I'm right here with you, man. I
appreciate misery loves company. I get it. But when it comes to the Weiss Take Nation, when I'm doing bad, I want somebody else doing good, man. I want to hear good news. I want to hear Johnny's taking them down. Then CK, I avoided the Maeda bomb. Yes, glorious. Somebody did it. But I appreciate it, Johnny. I know that you're just trying to let me know that you're in the trenches with me right now.
Yes, I am, dude. And
I know.
And here's the other thing. Like I got on one tournament, I was smart. And I pivot off of Snell, and I'm like in 60th. And I have a chance because I got Straley and Snell still going. So I have a chance to actually make this one work. So
there you go.
We'll see. At least I got smart with one lineup.
Do it for the nation, Johnny, please. Yeah. I want some good news, brother. Do it for the nation.
Yeah.
All right. Last game on the slate. We've got Jose Urena of the Miami Marlins visiting Clayton Richard, the lefty, from the San Diego Padres. The total here is 7.5. San Diego plus 130. I'm sorry, minus 130, I believe. Yeah, minus 130 at home. 62 degrees, 82% humidity. What are you doing here?
Okay, so please, God, give me something on this slate tomorrow because I don't want to pitch Matt Moore and I don't want to pitch Urena. I need a cheap pitcher. So make something happen tonight. I don't know. Somebody gets sick. Let's get a good pitcher in there. That's cheap. Anyways, for me, no Urena. This guy's terrible. I think you can play some Padres against him. Clayton Richards is not a very good pitcher. I think you could take some of these bats against him as well. The only thing that he's got going in his favor, big ballpark here, and both these teams are not very great offenses. If you're looking for a couple low-owned plays that have upside, Hosmer's definitely there. Like that tomorrow. And Rafi Lopez. Those are my favorite plays in San Diego tomorrow. No more Frenchie Cordero. He's on the DL. Just let everybody know if you're wondering what happened to that guy. Frenchie's on the DL. He got injured, so he's not going to be in this lineup. And on the other side here, you could definitely take a look at JT Realmuto. And because it's the last game on the slate, East Coast, West Coast bias. A lot of people like to see their action early. He's going to go really low owned. I think that's a mistake. It's a great matchup for him. And also Brian Anderson has a great matchup here. So I really like those little two guys on each side. In tournaments, I think it's a pretty easy play there. And no pitchers here.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think I could play Urena. I don't want to. I would much rather play Stripling and take the risk than play Urena at 4-3. I play Urena a lot when he's in the fours. Like if he's like 4-9 or 4-4, 4-3, I got no problem throwing him out there. He's a decent pitcher. He's not a great pitcher. He does have a matchup with the Padres, so I get the strikeout upside is there. It's just the 6-3 price tag is kind of scary. Like if I could just for another $1,000, I can go to Ross Stripling. It just seems like why would I do that? I'm not paying 7-9 for Clayton Richard. I don't play Clayton Richard, and I'm certainly not going to do it against a Marlins team that is predominantly right-handed. I think that the Marlins stack could actually be a little sneaky here. Not a ton of upside, obviously, but they are extremely right-handed, and they can't hit lefties. Like you said, Brian Anderson, Realmuto's kind of reverse splitsy, but he certainly can hit lefties. Miguel Rojas is matching lefties this year, so I do think that the Marlins, I don't want nothing to do with Clayton Richard. I can't believe they're even favored in this spot. But I guess that's just but I will say the Padres offense has been a little hotter lately. But I think Urena's in play. I think the whole Marlins side is in play. Not huge, nothing I love. Again, it's going to be hard for me to go to Urena when I got Stripling for another 1,000 against the Phillies. But I'm with you. I'm not interested in anything from the Padres, really. And that's going to do it, my man, for the game-by-game breakdown. Real quick, before we do some top threes, I'm going to remind everybody, if you haven't already, check us out at weissec.com. I do not know what you are waiting for. Come rock out with the nation. We have articles for you, cash games, GPPs. We have Cam doing cheat sheets if you're in a jam and you need some quick plays. We got all the stuff covered if you're looking for just options for plays, if you don't have a lot of time to do the research. Of course, if you do have the time to do the research, we have an awesome chat where the nation's in there chopping it up. You never know, myself, Johnny, or any of the other Weiss Take guys will be in there going over a few things with the slate. We also have these strategy sessions that we're doing whenever we don't have an early slate. So tomorrow we're not doing one, but the turnouts for those are getting more and more. It's awesome. Guys are having so much more success. We broke down the Rockies against Samardzija today, and it was just too clear of a play. I think hopefully a lot of the nation remembered the profiles and stuck with it. And then, of course, you have the Weiss stream. We do that 7 days a week for main slates. It'll be myself and Johnny, myself and Paulie, whoever the case is, one of the guys. Cash and DFS does it on Fridays, where we actually break down an hour and a half before lock, similarly to this, except for this is obviously a first look. When we do those, the research is out. We try to react to lineups. We've already done all our research for the day. It's a phenomenal thing, and it's geared to make you a better player. So whether you're in a pinch and you just want some plays, we have that for you. If you're looking to actually learn the game and learn strategy and hone your craft and learn some skill, we have stuff for that too. So all around, just a phenomenal DFS community. We're a bunch of winners, man. Our members are winners. Our staff is winners. Just a bunch of winners on the squad, man. And I wouldn't be surprised if we even held on and made a little bit of money, even with the Miami disaster, because we nailed the bats so damn much today, Johnny. Wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, no, my cash games are killing it still today. I mean, I wish I would have put Snell in there. I would have won all my single entries. But, still putting up with a 1. I'm putting up 125 in cash games today, so that's still pretty good.
There you go. There you go. All right, we're going to do some top threes now, Johnny. Who are your top 3 pitchers on your first look going into tomorrow?
Yeah, so I like Paxton. I think, the more I think about it, I think that he's probably going to be that guy I go to unless something opens up here. I think I'm going to go there, and then definitely cash games. I like him in probably all formats. And then, you know what? I'm probably going to have to look at Ross Stripling tomorrow. I really want to go somewhere cheaper because I want these Colorado bats. But from right now, I think I'm going to have to go there, or hopefully the weather maybe cleans up a little bit here. I can go with Nathan Eovaldi. I might go there. But I think, honestly, I'm going to do a little bit more looking into Brad Keller and see if he's stretched out. He's just a bullpen guy. $4,600 against the Twins here. I might go there with the big ballpark. But I think my favorite right now, I'm going to say, is going to be Scherzer's number 2. It's going to be Paxton number 1. And my number 3 is probably going to be Stripling as of right now.
Yeah, same top 3, man. I like Paxton a lot for tournaments. I like Scherzer for both cash games and tournaments, and then Stripling, whatever. He seems to be the standout SP2 option so far from both the ceiling and from a floor standpoint. Of course, you don't know what his floor really is because Dave Roberts has not been kicked in the nuts yet. So until that happens, we won't really know what his floor truly is, or any Dodger pitcher.
That's just because he hasn't met me yet.
It's just because he hasn't met the freak yet. Freak Mo's about to get freaky on him. All right. Top 3 stacks, Johnny. What you got?
I'm just afraid that if I kicked him, I'd kick him so hard he'd start choking on him.
Oh, my God.
Anyways, so yeah, so the one thing I was gonna say when you were talking about all the promotion stuff we have and everything like that, like my article, like the cash article I write here, it's becoming known as the free money article because you just play it and you win money. It's really what it is. If you want to, definitely tomorrow's a great slate. You get two days to try it out, and telling you won't be disappointed. Me and CK are going to be doing the Weiss stream together tomorrow, and we've been on fire. Like we've been on the same things, and we've been getting a lot of things right. We just.
Oh man, he was in the middle of an awesome plug and he froze up there. How about that? It's true. Oh, there he's back. He's back. He's back. We're good. He's back. Okay, you froze up for a second, but you're back. So keep going. We've been on a hot streak on a lot of the same stuff. Keep going.
Yeah, we've been on, like, when we do the shows lately. We've been on the same stuff, and we've been doing really good. We've been hitting everything. Just we get unlucky with the pitcher here and there in tournaments, but that's why they're GPP. Like again, if you're trying to do this for a living or you're trying to do this for some extra cash, you have to be playing cash games. And literally, you read my article, you follow my steps. You do as I do, and you just play them, and you'll make money. I've had very few days where I haven't at least broken even, if not made a ton of money. Most of the time I'm making 3 to 4 times my money on playing them in cash and single entries. I think I've had this whole year, and my articles only lost, I think, 1 day. Had 1 net loss day, which is pretty good. I don't think anybody in the industry has that kind of an ROI. My ROI in cash games is over 60%, which is pretty good. So I just want to throw that out there. Like, I think you guys really should try it out. I'm not the cash game guy. I'm actually a GPP guy, but I do this cash game article, and it's made me even better at what I do. And I plug it, and you just look at our tweets that we get from the cash game articles and all the winners we get. It's really good, and we got a lot of brains here that are GPP specialists, like Cash and CK over here in Poly. They're the big GPP guys, and they got some great tools out there, and they give out some great information and some great plays. And me, even though I'm a professional, I do this for a living. I learn a lot from these guys too. I always try to pick CK's brain and Pauly and Cash any chance I get just to make myself better. So I'm telling you, we do have a great bunch of guys. I just wanted to throw that out there.
Likewise, Johnny. Likewise. We do the same thing. I think that's the best part about it is we treat it as a community. There's no egos here. We all try to learn from each other. We're all interested in learning. I want to know what the members think. I want to know what Johnny thinks, Cash thinks, BK thinks. I want to know what Cam thinks, like everybody. And I think that's part of what makes us such a good community is we learn and we look for opportunity, and we do what we do. But couldn't have said it better myself, man. So, if you're watching on YouTube, please click that thumbs up, that like button, subscribe to the channel, get notified whenever we release a cool-ass free video like this one. If you're watching us on Facebook, please like and share to support the Weiss Take Nation. If you're watching on Twitch or Twitter, give us a follow at Weiss_Take. Give us a retweet and a like. And if you're listening on Podbean or iTunes, give us some 5-star reviews. Really helps us out, helps pump us up those charts. That's one of the things you can do to support the Weiss Take Nation. Just show us a little bit of support, whatever platform that it is that you listen to. Also, guys, don't forget we still have the Memorial Day promo code going. Don't know how much longer it's going to be up, but it's still up for now. Save 25%. You can check us out on Twitter. You can see the whole ad right there, but you can save 25% off the monthly plan. For the All Sports 1 year, the All Sports 3 months, All Sports monthly, the MLB season, MLB monthly. You can save it on pretty much anything that aside from the weekly or dailies. So anything that's monthly or longer, you can save 25% on whatever you're interested in. So use it. Memorial Day money, no spaces. That's Memorial Day money, no spaces. With that said, for Johnny the Greek, for myself, the entire Weiss Take Nation, as always, good luck.
Ship it. Yeah.